what you said today. You were joking, right? I mean, I believe it was a joke.
Excuse me? What are you referring to?
Surely you don't mean to tell me you're actually from a single-parent household, right? You're not seriously thinking that someone from a single-parent household could marry my Brandon, are you?
As I mentioned earlier, I was raised in a single-parent household. My father raised me single-handedly, and I have nothing but the utmost gratitude for him. I truly admire everything he's done for me. But I'm not sure why that matters here.
Why does it matter, you ask? It's not a question of whether it matters. I thought I must have misheard. I wanted to believe I had misheard. But now you're telling me I didn't? This is unbelievable, absolutely shocking. You, coming from a single-parent household, think you're fit to marry my Brandon? Do you even realize who my Brandon is? He works at a prestigious bank. And not just him, his older and younger brothers work there too. Even my husband works at the same bank, and we take pride in being a family built on such strong, respectable foundations. But now you, a girl from a single-parent household, have the audacity to think that you can marry into a banking family like ours? There's no way. No matter how you spin it, this is unacceptable, completely unacceptable.
Well, Brandon never mentioned this was a problem to him. If it's such a big deal, I think he would have brought it up himself.
Oh, don't you worry. I asked him about it, and he told me you hid the fact that you're from a single-parent household. Did you think we wouldn't find out?
I didn't hide anything. I hadn't introduced my father yet, but I definitely told Brandon that my mother wasn't around. There was no reason for me to hide it. And frankly, I don't understand why being from a single-parent household means I can't marry into a banking family. That logic makes no sense to me.
What did you just say? That it makes no sense? How dare you act so flippant when you're just some poor girl from a single-parent home, shamelessly trying to cling to my son and ruin his future? Your attitude is completely unacceptable.
I'm not clinging to anyone. Where is this coming from? Also, your assumption that being from a single-parent household automatically makes someone poor is a huge leap. That's such outdated thinking. We live in an era where such assumptions are not only incorrect, but downright ridiculous. Even if I were struggling financially, which I'm not, I wouldn't be marrying Brandon for his money. I care about him, not his bank account. Criticizing me for something so arbitrary just feels fundamentally wrong.
You're the one who doesn't make any sense. Honestly, I am dumbfounded by how delusional you are. Just listen carefully. From now on, I don't want you meeting Brandon anymore. In fact, I'm sure he already regrets being involved with you. There's simply no way you're a suitable match for him, or for our family. You will never be a proper fit for a banking family like ours, never.
If being a part of a banking family is so important, then I'd argue that I'm more than qualified. Certainly more than you're giving me credit for.
Excuse me, what's that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing you need to worry about. I was just thinking out loud. At any rate, I'll talk to Brandon about this directly. I'd prefer to hear what he truly thinks. After all, we're already planning our wedding. If his opinion aligns with yours, then I'd rather know now than later.
What did you just say? How dare you refer to me like that? Watch your tone when speaking to me.
My apologies, that wasn't my intention. Regardless, I now understand your perspective, Brandon's mother, but I'd appreciate it if you'd let me and Brandon handle this between ourselves.
You better not dare to twist my words or say anything unnecessary to him. Do you hear me? If you try anything, I won't forgive you.
Unnecessary? What exactly do you mean by that?
Figure it out for yourself. Use your head for once, you foolish girl.
Wow, was that really necessary? Was it really called for to insult me like that? In any case, I'll excuse myself for now. I'm finding it hard to stay when you're being this rude.
Hey, what the hell did you say to my mom?
Huh? What are you talking about? I was just about to call you.
My mom just called me in tears. She said you insulted her.
Insulted her? Seriously? If anything, I should be asking that question. She was the one who insulted me pretty badly, you know?
What are you even talking about? What happened? Can't you two just get along? Women always make things so complicated.
Don't try to chalk this up to some women being women nonsense. Your mother called me a gold digger. She basically said I was only marrying you for your money because I come from a single-parent household. Are you okay with that? Are you really fine with your fiancé being misunderstood and slandered like that by your own mother?
Misunderstood? Where exactly is the misunderstanding? Look, my mom is just being a mom. It's totally normal for her to be concerned. You should understand that. She's my mother. If she's overprotective, then as my future wife, you should just learn to let it slide. That's part of being a good wife, you know? You're supposed to represent the family now, so don't embarrass us. Take it as a chance to learn how to behave properly.
Excuse me? There's just so much wrong with what you just said. I don't even know where to start. First of all, when have I ever tried to take advantage of you? And when did I ever claim to be poor?
You didn't have to say it, it's obvious. But hey, I'm willing to put up with it because you're my type. So if I can deal with it, you should be able to too. It's all about compromise, right?
And now, are you serious right now? Do you even hear yourself?
What's the big deal? You're overreacting. Relax. My mom didn't mean any harm. She's just worried because I'm the youngest. I'm her baby, you know? It's natural for her to be protective.
This isn't just about her being protective.
Anyway, just avoid saying anything that might upset her, okay? That's your job as my future wife. Got it? This is what being part of a family means. It's your responsibility to adjust.
I can't believe this. Are you even listening to what I'm saying?
Eva, I assume you already understand, but today's wedding is officially canceled.
I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about?
Oh, didn't Brandon tell you? He agreed to it. Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't see this coming. You were never a good match for our family. Canceling at the last minute is the only logical outcome. Surely you must have known deep down that this wasn't going to work out.
Are you serious? You're really saying this on the day of the wedding? Did Brandon actually agree to this? He didn't say anything to me.
Well, he felt too awkward to tell you himself, so he asked me to handle it. Isn't that sweet? It just goes to show how much he values his mother's opinion.
So he couldn't even be bothered to tell me himself? Well, that says a lot.
Oh, don't act so shocked. Let's be real here. A single-parent daughter like you isn't fit to marry into a family like ours. We're a banking family. You should have realized from the start that someone like you wasn't welcome. Go blame your father for raising you on his own.
Speaking of my father, how about I call him over right now?
Oh, by all means, go ahead. It won't change anything.
Great. He's actually right here next to me. I'll just let him see this entire exchange.
Whatever. It's not like his opinion matters to us anyway.
Hello, Mrs. Brandon. It's been a while.
Wait, who is this?
This is Gregory. You might know me as the head of the bank.
What? Head to the bank? Wait, I'm sorry. What's happening right now?
I heard every word you said. You've been incredibly disrespectful to my daughter. As of this moment, consider your relationship with our family terminated. I'll make sure you're no longer working for us, at least not at the main branch.
Wait, this has to be some kind of joke. Gregory? As in the Gregory? Oh, that can't be right. Why would your daughter...
My daughter, Eva, has always been cautious about gold diggers, so she didn't want to reveal our connection too soon. But after hearing about your behavior, I now regret ever letting this charade go on for so long. To insult her on the day of her wedding, no less. What an absolute disgrace!
Wait, does this mean Eva is actually your daughter?
That's what I've been saying. I'm her father.
I didn't know. I mean, no one told me. Oh, this has to be a misunderstanding, right? A prank? Oh, please tell me it's all a mistake.
Oh, it's no mistake, but it's good that this all came out now. Frankly, I'm relieved the wedding is cancelled. I'd never allow my daughter to marry into a family like yours.
No, wait, please. I didn't mean anything I said earlier. I take it all back. I was just joking. We're all completely on board with the wedding now. Please, let's continue as planned.
You've already shown your true colors. My daughter deserves far better than to be part of your petty, narrow-minded family. You think our family is bottom tier? Fine, go find another upper-class bride for your son. Good luck with that. I doubt you'll succeed.
Wait. Oh, please don't leave things like this. What about my husband's career? What about Brandon? You can't do this.
Oh, but I can, and I will. I'll let HR take care of the details. Consider this a lesson in humility. You'll regret the day you disrespected my daughter.
Why haven't you been answering your phone? I've been calling you over and over. The wedding's about to start. We're going to proceed with the wedding as planned, right? Please tell me we are. Listen, what my mom said earlier, I didn't know anything about it. I swear I didn't mean for things to go this way. I really want to get married to you.
I must respectfully decline.
What? Eva, are you serious right now? Are you really saying this? This is our wedding day. Are you saying you don't want to go through with the ceremony?
It's not about the wedding itself. I'm saying I'm not going to marry you at all.
What? Are you joking right now? Calling off the wedding at this point? How could you even think of doing this? Oh, I get it. This is probably what they call pre-wedding jitters, right? That's fine. We can postpone the ceremony to a better time. But don't say you're canceling the marriage entirely. We're supposed to be happy together, remember?
Nope, absolutely no way.
Huh?
I figured it out from the message you sent the other day. It made me realize I could never, ever be with someone like you.
Wait, what are you even talking about?
Do you really not get it? You blindly believed everything your mom said about me without even listening to my side of the story, didn't you? And then you turned around and blamed me. On top of that, deep down, you think single-parent households are at the bottom of society, don't you? You even said you were tolerating me just because you found me physically attractive. Guess what? That's mutual.
What? No, come on, that was just a joke, like,
The kind of joke you made was way out of line. And not once did you ever treat me. Not once. So, what was that about me being the one who's tolerating things?
That's because, well, you never paid either, so,
Because we always split the bill, right? Were you expecting me to treat you instead? Seriously, what are you even saying?
But I didn't know! I didn't know your father was Gregory, the head of the bank. I had no idea. I'll take back every terrible thing I said. I promise. I'll apologize for all of it. Let's just go ahead with the wedding as planned, okay? Please don't say the marriage is off.
Wow, literally everything you're saying is a turnoff. Please don't ever contact me again. I have no intention of being with you anymore. Honestly, the fact that I even considered marrying you was a mistake. I should have taken a closer look at the kind of person you were before making a huge decision. In fact, I should be thanking your mom for showing me your true colors before it was too late. Anyway, goodbye. Don't ever call me again.
Wait! Eva, please! I love you. I really do. You have to believe me. This is all a misunderstanding.
Why don't you go bond with your mom over trash-talking me some more? Honestly, I'm done with this little family game of yours. Goodbye! We, the bottom dwellers, will kindly remove ourselves from your oh-so-perfect life. Rejoice!
Eva, about what happened the other day. I was hoping we could properly apologize. Could we maybe meet and talk things through? I was thinking Brandon could come too, and maybe my husband?
I must decline.
What? Why? Why won't you even give me a chance?
Because an apology from you wouldn't change anything. Knowing that, I don't see any point in meeting with you.
You don't have to be so blunt about it.
Then let me ask you this. Why do you want to apologize? Isn't this just about making yourself feel better? What do you expect to happen after you apologize?
Well, since you're being so direct, let me be frank too. My husband has been working at the main branch for over 10 years, and now he's suddenly being transferred to a rural branch. Can you explain that? And all 3 of my sons are being reassigned to different regional offices as well. Don't you think that's outrageous? This is obviously because of your father's influence, isn't it?
I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm not involved in the bank's internal affairs. Even if you apologize to me, nothing's going to change. So don't you think this whole thing is a waste of time?
Eva, Brandon is heartbroken. Our entire family is in shambles because of you. The least you could do is ask your father, as the head of the bank, to reverse these unfair decisions.
You need to stop blaming others for your problems. It's embarrassing.
What did you just say?
You're blaming me for the broken engagement? What are you even talking about? If I recall, you were the ones planning to cancel the wedding on the day of, weren't you? Doesn't that mean you were also planning to call it off?
Well, that's not the same thing.
It's completely the same thing. The difference is that I made my decision after carefully considering everything. I wasn't planning to bail on the day of the wedding. I made a responsible choice. So who's really the one at fault here? Claiming it's my responsibility is just your own delusion. As for your husband and sons being reassigned, that's unfortunate, but blaming me is completely misplaced. Maybe you should look in the mirror instead.
But I've apologized. I've already apologized to you.
Discriminating against someone because they come from a single-parent household is disgusting. I'm so glad I didn't end up joining a family like yours. Honestly, thank you for showing me who you really are.
Eva, please, if you don't help us, our family is going to fall apart. I'm begging you, help us.
I've already told you there's nothing I can do. I don't work for the bank. Why would you even think I could fix their personal decisions?
But you loved Brandon, didn't you? You should still marry him. We're giving you our full blessing now. Isn't that what you wanted? You're free to marry him. Congratulations, we'll all be thrilled for you, I swear.
You're not making any sense anymore. Brandon and I are over, thanks to you, Josie. Contacting me further is pointless. This conversation is wasting everyone's time, so I'll take my leave. Best of luck to your family in their new roles.
Wait, are you really going to abandon us? Is this how you treat your fiancé?
Ex-fiancé. Please be precise.
At least save Brandon. None of this is his fault.
True, but it's also true that he sided with you, ignored my perspective, and decided to cancel the wedding without telling me directly. And let's not forget his own words. He admitted he was only tolerating me because he liked how I looked. Do you think I can love someone like that?
That's not fair. He's not always good with words.
I don't care anymore. And with that, I'll be going. If you have complaints about your reassignment, why don't you address them directly with your managers? This isn't my problem. Good luck dealing with it yourselves.
Hey, Eva, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you lately, and I was getting worried. My mom's been worried too. She asked if you were doing okay.
What do you want now? I'm doing just fine, so you don't need to reach out to check on me.
Oh, I see. That's good to hear. So, you think we could meet up sometime?
Excuse me?
It's been about a month since we decided to take some space. I figured we've both had time to cool off, so maybe we could meet and talk things over now. What do you think? I mean, I've been transferred to a branch way out of town, so we wouldn't be able to meet after work like before, but, well, that's kind of your fault too, so I guess it can't be helped.
What exactly are you talking about?
What do you mean?
You're acting like we're just taking a break or something, but no, that's not what's happening here. Our engagement was called off. We broke up. I'm pretty sure that's clear. So why are you contacting me now? What's the point of meeting up? Because honestly, I have no intention of seeing you.
I was serious about you, Why are you being so cold? Don't you feel anything for me anymore?
Feel something? For you? Not even a shred of pity. Maybe you should be grateful you didn't get fired, huh? Although, not that any of that concerns me anymore.
It's because of my mom, right? That's why you got upset? I've been keeping my distance from her since then, and we're not living together anymore, so let's start over. Let's get married. If we do, I can finally have everything I've ever wanted.
Wow, you are so fundamentally off base, it is almost impressive.
What?
It wasn't just your mother's fault that things ended between us. Are you seriously still clueless about how your irresponsible actions and careless words made me feel? Sure, your mom was the one who insulted me for coming from a single-parent family, but you? What did you do? You agreed with her. You went along with everything she said. And don't forget, you were all set to cancel the wedding because of her. Tell me, who in their right mind would want to start over with someone like that? Get a grip, loser.
Was that really necessary? You're kind of breaking me here.
I did like you once. There was a time when I genuinely cared about you. But now, I'm so relieved we didn't get married. Honestly, I couldn't be happier about it. I'm going to find happiness with someone else, someone who truly deserves it. And if you ever want to be happy or make someone else happy, you should rethink the way you see the world. Start considering what you can actually do for your partner. That's probably the only decent thing you could manage at this point.
I can't move on to someone else. It's impossible. I was serious about you. Completely serious.
Then maybe you should have thought about that before acting the way you did. But it's all too late now, isn't it? Anyway, Brandon, good luck with your new branch. We did have some good times together, and for those, I am thankful. Even though things turned out this way, I wish you the best. Please be happy. And goodbye. For real this time. Brandon had clearly sensed something, and to my relief, he no longer contacted me persistently. The days after the breakup had been filled with an unsettling mixture of emotions, and his unrelenting attempts to reach out had added to my confusion. But as time passed, it seems that Brandon finally understood that I needed space. The constant messages and phone calls gradually faded, and I began to wonder if this meant he had truly let go of the idea that things could be different between us. It was a strange, bittersweet feeling. The quiet after the storm of our relationship, I didn't know whether to feel grateful or sad, but one thing was certain, I could finally breathe again. As much as I had tried to move on, there were moments when I still thought about him. The memories of our time together, the laughter, the quiet moments, the love we once shared, would come flooding back, and I'd wonder if I had made the right choice. Was ending our engagement the right thing to do? Was there any possibility of reconciliation? But those thoughts were fleeting. Deep down, I knew that breaking off the engagement had been necessary. We had grown apart in ways that couldn't be fixed, and trying to force things back into place would only cause more pain for both of us. It was 6 months after the breakup when I received an unexpected message from Josie. At first, I was unsure of how to feel about hearing from her again. Josie had been a close friend, and while our bond had not been dissolved completely, it had been strained after everything that happened. I hadn't spoken much to her since my breakup with Brandon. In the aftermath of such an emotional event, I had pulled away from many people in my life. Not because I wanted to, but because I simply couldn't handle more emotional demands at the time. So when I saw Josie's name flash on my screen, my heart skipped a beat. What could this be about? I hadn't expected to hear from her. I opened the message cautiously, unsure of what to expect. Josie wasn't the type to reach out without a reason. Was she checking up on me, or was this message about something else? Maybe she was concerned about how I was handling things, or perhaps she had her own life updates to share. As I began to read, I was surprised. It wasn't just a casual check-in, it was a heartfelt message of gratitude. Josie told me that her husband's job had transferred them to a rural area, and they had decided to move. She expressed how surprised she was by how much she had come to love the quiet, slower pace of life in the countryside. Her words were filled with sincerity as she described how the natural surroundings, the slower rhythm of daily life, and the absence of the city's constant buzz had allowed her to reconnect with herself in a way that she hadn't expected. I was taken aback by how much she seemed to be thriving in this new environment, and how she was able to find joy in what, at first, seemed like a daunting change. Josie admitted that she had initially been unsure about moving to a rural area. She had always been someone who thrived in a more vibrant, bustling setting, and the thought of leaving the city for a place where life was simpler and quieter had felt like a huge leap. But as it turns out, the move had been exactly what she needed. The stress of city life had started to take its toll on her, and the peace of the countryside had offered her a sense of calm she hadn't realized she was missing. She described the picturesque landscapes, the way the air seemed fresher and cleaner, and how the slower pace of life allowed her to focus on the things that really mattered. There was something deeply fulfilling about the simplicity of it all. I couldn't help but smile as I read her message. Josie had always been someone who, despite her occasional doubts, had a way of making the best out of any situation. I had always admired her resilience, her ability to adapt and find light even in the darkest of times. And now it seemed that she had found a true sense of happiness in a place that she had once been apprehensive about. She went on to express how much she appreciated the life she had now. Despite the initial challenges of the move, Josie had found contentment in ways I hadn't expected. She described how the change had brought her closer to her husband and how they had become more attuned to each other's needs and desires, and how they had been able to grow together in a way they hadn't before. She even mentioned the slower pace of life had helped her rediscover old hobbies and passions, and she was now able to enjoy things that she had once neglected. She spoke about gardening, painting, and even cooking as ways that she had begun to reconnect with her creative side, and how all of these things had become sources of fulfillment. But what truly surprised me was the tone of her message. It wasn't just about the peaceful life she had found, it was a message of gratitude. Josie thanked me for everything we had shared in the past, for the support and friendship we had built. She acknowledged that despite the distance that had grown between us in the recent months, our bond had meant a lot to her, and she hoped that we could continue to support each other even if from afar. There was something about her words that made me pause, something that made me reflect on how much our friendship had shaped both of us. I hadn't realized at the time, but Josie's message made me understand something important. We had both been through our own struggles, and yet we had each found a way to move forward. Her happiness in the countryside, her newfound sense of peace and contentment, was a reflection of the strength that lay within both of us. We had both faced our own versions of heartbreak, disappointment, and change, but we had emerged from those experiences stronger and more capable of finding joy in life again. I also found myself thinking about how much I had changed. When I first received the message from Josie, I hadn't known how to react. But as I read her words, I realized how much I had grown since the days of the engagement and the tumultuous emotions that had followed its end. I had learned to trust myself again, to let go of the past and focus on what truly mattered. My own path was still uncertain, but I knew I was stronger for having gone through everything that had happened, and in that strength I found a sense of peace that I hadn't realized was possible. Her message reminded me of something I had forgotten, that sometimes the unexpected changes in our lives can lead to the most beautiful transformations. Josie's move to the countryside, the unexpected joy she found in a simpler life, was proof that there could be beauty in the changes we resist the most. It made me wonder if perhaps I too could find my own version of peace in the challenges that had come my way. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how much I had to be thankful for. Despite the hurt, despite the pain of the breakup, I had learned so much about myself, and though I hadn't expected to find gratitude in such a situation, I now saw it clearly. I was stronger, more self-aware, and more capable of living a life true to myself than I had ever been before. And as for Brandon, well, it no longer mattered. The chapter we had shared had come to a close, and though I had once wondered if things could be different, I now knew the path that I was on was the one I was meant to follow. And just like Josie, I would find my own version of happiness, even if it wasn't exactly what I had imagined. It seems that Brandon is also doing his best in another region now. However, to be completely honest, it no longer matters to me. When I first heard about him moving away for work, a small part of me was curious about what his life was like, how he was coping with the change, and whether he had moved on. There was a time when his struggles, his successes, and even his challenges were so deeply intertwined with my own emotions. But now I realize that I've distanced myself from that life. The things that once held so much weight, his ambitions, his personal battles, are now nothing more than distant echoes of the past. Brandon and I had shared so much, and our lives were once so closely linked, that the idea of him living in another place seemed impossible at first. But as time passed and as the dust from our breakup settled, it became clear to me that what he does or where he lives is no longer something I need to concern myself with. In the beginning, when we ended things, I couldn't help but wonder if we were truly finished, if there might ever be a moment when our paths would cross again. But now I understand that those thoughts are irrelevant. I have my own life to live, my own future to shape, and the focus needs to be on my own growth, my happiness, and my well-being. It's strange how quickly life can change. What once seemed like an essential connection is now just a passing memory, something I don't feel the need to revisit. Brandon's life, his achievements, his challenges, they belong to him, just as mine belong to me. I'm no longer looking back, I'm moving forward, and that's all that matters now. Through everything that's happened, I've come to realize just how deeply I feel my father's love. It's something I hadn't fully grasped before, something that had always been there in the background of my life, quietly providing strength and support when I needed it the most. His love wasn't always something I recognized at first. At times it was easy to overlook or take for granted, especially in moments when I was focused on other aspects of my life. But now as I look back and reflect on everything, I can see just how much it's shaped me, how much it's guided me through some of the toughest moments in my life. It's only now, after all this time, that I can fully appreciate the depth of his affection for me and how it's been a steady, unwavering presence in my life. When I went through the difficult period of breaking off my engagement, there were moments when I questioned everything. I doubted myself, wondered if I was making the right decision, and sometimes even wished things could have turned out differently. But in those moments of uncertainty, my father's love was like a quiet voice in the back of my mind, reminding me that I was not alone and that I could face anything as long as I stayed true to myself. His love was not something that demanded attention or made grand gestures. It was the kind of love that simply existed, steady and constant, ready to provide comfort whenever I needed it. Even when I didn't realize it, he was there for me in ways that meant more than words could express. The love for my father has had for me is unlike anything I can truly explain to anyone else. It's something that goes beyond simple affection. It's not a love that's always loud or obvious, but it's one that runs deep. One that's been shaped by years of shared experiences, challenges, and victories. He's always been someone who believed in me, even when I struggled to believe in myself. There's a strength in that kind of love, a quiet, enduring strength that has held me up during my darkest moments. It's a kind of love that doesn't ask for anything in return. It's unconditional, and that's something I will always hold dear. As time has passed and I've had the chance to reflect more on the relationship I share with my father, I've come to realize something even more profound. My father is irreplaceable. To me, he is unlike any other person in this world. There's no one who can take his place, no one who can provide the same kind of support, the same kind of care, the same kind of unwavering loyalty that he has always offered me. He is and always will be a singular figure in my life. There is no one else who could ever fulfill that role. This understanding of my father's irreplaceability has led me to think deeply about my future, especially when it comes to relationships. I've thought about what kind of person I want to be with, someone who will share my life, my dreams, and my challenges. I've come to realize that the most important thing for me in any relationship is that my partner understands and respects the bond I have with my father. This bond is not something that can be ignored or downplayed. It's an essential part of who I am, and it's something that will always be a part of me, no matter who I'm with in the future. Finding someone who can truly appreciate this dynamic, someone who understands the depth of the connection I share with my father, is no easy task. It's not about finding someone who will compete with him or try to replace him. It's about finding someone who will accept the importance of that relationship and who will be secure enough in themselves to appreciate that I will always have a deep love and respect for my father. I need a partner who can see this and understand that it's not a threat to our relationship, but rather an integral part of who I am. It's a delicate balance, and it's not something that can be found easily, but I'm confident that one day I will find someone who can embrace this aspect of me and who will be supportive of the relationship I have with my father. Until that time comes, I've decided that my focus should be on myself. I can't wait for someone else to complete me or fill the spaces in my life. The truth is, I am enough as I am. The journey I am on now is one of personal growth. It's about continuing to develop as a person emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I am learning to love myself more each day, to appreciate my own worth, and to recognize that I am capable of creating a feeling and meaningful life on my own. I've come to understand that the right person will come along when the time is right, but in the meantime, I'm working on becoming the best version of myself. I'm focusing on building my own strength, my own happiness, and my own sense of fulfillment. I know that when the right person enters my life, I will be ready for them. I will be strong in who I am and confident in the love I have to offer. But I will also be clear about the fact that the love I have for my father will always be a significant part of who I am, and anyone who wants to be with me will need to understand that and respect it. The decision to break off my engagement, though difficult at the time, now feels like one of the best decisions I've ever made. When I was in the midst of it, I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. There were moments of doubt, moments when I thought that maybe I should have tried harder, and maybe things could have worked out. But looking back now, I see that walking away was the best choice I could have made for myself. I had to make a choice to prioritize my own happiness and well-being, even though it was painful. Ending the engagement wasn't just about ending one relationship, it was about reclaiming my life, my sense of self, and my peace of mind. It was about recognizing that I deserve to be with someone who can offer me the kind of love and support that I need, and who can respect the bond I share with my father. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one. I don't regret it at all. In fact, I'm grateful for the strength it took to make that decision. It was the moment I decided that I was worth more than settling for a relationship that didn't align with my values, my needs, and my sense of self. As I continue to move forward in life, I am learning more about who I am and what I want. I am becoming stronger, more independent, and more confident in my ability to create a life I want for myself. The love and support I have from my father will always be there, and I know that no matter what happens, he will always be someone I can turn to for guidance and reassurance. And while I may not have found the partner I'm looking for just yet, I know that the right person will come along at the right time. Until then, I'm focusing on myself, on my growth, and on building the kind of life that will make me truly happy. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.